Okay, fight fans, welcome back. This is the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Bak.
And I'm Barack the Boxing Bully.
And this is one of my favorite segments on this show. We don't do it often, but when we do it, we make some changes. I'm talking about pound for pound lists. Top 10 pound for pound fighters in the world. We're gonna give you Ak and Barack's list, and we moved a couple of things around. Barack, I always like to go from 1 to 10 because usually the changes are on the latter end of the list because nobody jumps from 10 to 1.
That's a good point. And I don't look at it as we make the changes. I look at it like the fighters make the changes. They're the ones who fight. They get themselves put on a list.
And we place them where they should be, where we feel they should be.
No doubt. All right, so let's start with them. We need to just get the first three out the way. That's what we need.
Out of the way, right? What's the first three, Barack?
First three, obviously, is Terrence Bud Crawford being number one, undefeated. To me, he's the most dominant guy in the sport, stopping his last 8 or 9 competitors. Then you got Canelo. He's still there at the top. I know some people threw him off the top 5 because his loss to B-Ball, but in our opinion, he does not belong in a 175-pound division, and he didn't get demolished. He literally is a 154, maybe 160-pounder fighter, and that's it. He's too small. He's same height as Floyd Mayweather.
And he's coming off a victory over at Triple G.
Absolutely. Made Triple G look old. Maybe it was because he was old. Who knows? Doesn't matter. He's the first one to beat Triple G like that, hands down. And number 3, once again, he's still there. Errol Spence. Last victory was Ugas. Dominated that fight. Was able to stop him. Hopefully Ugas recovered well with the eye. So now let's start playing around.
Let's make some changes. That's right. Now, this wasn't easy for us. Look, either guy could be in this fourth spot, but we feel with the win over his last opponent, very skilled, tall southpaw, top level, undefeated fighter, and he was able to beat him fairly easily. And earlier this year, he had another big victory over the pound for pound king. You know what I'm talking about. That's right. Dimitri Bivol replaces Inoue at the number 4 spot, and Inoue moves up to number 5. Now look, this wasn't easy. Some of you might disagree with us because Inoue did stop Nonito Donaire in his last fight. Nonito Donaire is well past his prime. I know he had a little momentum going on. He wasn't fighting top level guys. We love Donaire over here, but I just felt like the Ramirez win was just a little more significant, but Inoue is still a monster, but we just made some changes.
Right, you guys got to understand that it's 2 of us here, so we got to compromise. This is not exactly the way I wanted it, and this ain't exactly the way Ak wanted it. Like I was the one who complained. I rate Donaire very high. One of my favorite fighters. I think he's still special at 40 years old. He has some great wins, and he was a current champion when Inoue stopped him. Not just beat him like the last time, which was a close fight, but he stopped him. But got to compromise, and I couldn't argue too much, and here we have it. We have him.
Yeah.
Now, Inoue.
And just to combat with you a little bit here, I just feel like Nonito was a champion, but he wasn't really competitive in that rematch against Donaire. Just the shots weren't there, the speed wasn't there. It wasn't the same Donaire that fought him the first time. So yes, credit to Inoue for stopping him, but he was being typical Inoue. That wasn't the same Donaire that he fought the first time. That's my opinion.
All right, maybe so. I can't argue that.
All right, after that, we got at number 6, Alexander Usyk, who was there before. Number 7, Jermell Charlo is still there. I know people want to see Jermell fight somebody, a top-level guy. He's a top dog right now. I'm dying to see him against a big name, Barack.
Yeah, he cleaned out the division.
Exactly.
So you always got to give credit to the guy who beats guys individually to get the undisputed championship. You got to give him that. And basically, there's really nobody else.
Hey, Barack, here's the thing that people kind of forget. There's some fight fans and experts that talk about it, but not too many. People talk about winning the title, becoming undisputed. But people forget about defending the title, defending your crown, defending your home, the king defending his castle. What happened to that? Because people, when they say, I cleaned out the division, what else is there to do? Hey, how about defend all of those titles with the number 1 contenders, the mandatory? I'm not saying you have to, but there's something to say about that.
That's true, but I would say we think more about like that when it comes to like the heavyweights who can't go anywhere. They can't move up or move down, so that's understandable. When you talk about a guy like Jermell Charlo, who's a big guy who can probably go to 160, then it's different. I'm not mad at a guy like Shakur Stevenson who didn't want to become undisputed at 126. He wanted to move up to 130. You know what I mean? And then
I think it also depends on the division, how stacked the division is. You're right. I'm not upset at Jermell Charlo for possibly wanting to move up to 160 because the names aren't huge. And I'm not disrespecting nobody at 154. Mm-hmm. But when you're in a division like 135, right? Or you're on a division like 168, when there are a lot of names in a division, then you can stay there and still create big fights, defending against the contenders, the top level contenders. But those guys are big names, so they're big fights. But if you're in a division where there are not a lot of big names, it's not too enticing to stay in the division and defend your titles against everybody. But that's just something to be said. Who else we got on the list?
Well, number 8, we got the young, undisputed lightweight champion. I don't know why they're naming other guys champions in that division. When you got an undisputed guy, that's like disrespect to what he's accomplished, and that's Devin Haney. Then we got number 9, still, Lomachenko. Now, number 10, hit him up.
Listen, come on, none other than the Puerto Rican, that's right, from Newark, New Jersey. Mr. Half-Rican. You know, I have to throw that out there. Look, we got one of the most skilled fighters in the world at number 10. His name is Shakur Stevenson. And I don't know, if I could see into my crystal ball, Barack, I believe this young man is gonna keep creeping up that list as time passes. And one day he'll be close, or if not at that number 1 spot, Shakur Stevenson. Look, I mean, Lomachenko, he's still there because he's still one of the best fighters in the world, without question. I know people are kind of throwing shots at his last win against Jermaine Ortiz, a young undefeated fighter. I mean, what did you expect? This guy came there to win. So Loma maybe didn't look his best, but I believe we're gonna get the best version of Lomachenko when he fights Devin Haney. So we still got him in that spot, but we don't know for how much longer because Shakur is creeping up.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. See, the thing is, I myself rate Jermaine Ortiz high. I thought he was skillful. That eye test, he passed it 100%. And he put up a hell of a fight. And I think we'll notice that when he fights other guys. And that's the thing. We'll notice how good he is when he fights other guys in that division. So Lomachenko, he's already accomplished enough to be in the Hall of Fame. He deserves that spot.
No doubt. And that's our top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Akim Barak. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.